What's going on, guys? Cultimush back at it with a $700 gaming PC build. This is a great build if you're looking to do some great 1080p gaming. This build won't be able to max out every game at 1080p and get 60 frames per second, but you'll be able to play all the newest games at respectable settings and respectable frame rate. And all in all, this is a great first build if you guys are building a new gaming PC and you're trying to get into gaming PC. Check this build out. So without further ado, let's get right into this with the CPU of the build. I went with the Intel Core i5-4460 3.2 GHz quad-core processor. The Core i5-4460 is one of the best budget end processors on the market right now. You can get it for around $170, and while it isn't overclockable since it's not a K-series processor, it's still clocked at 3.2 GHz, which is still fairly decent. And it's a quad-core, which you definitely want in a build like this. At a $700 budget, you can't fit in an i5-4690K, and you definitely can't fit in a Skylake i5, but the i5-4460 still does a really good job. And it's just a great CPU for gaming. I didn't want to spend more than around $170 because you do still want to spend a decent amount of money on the video card, which is the main point of a gaming build. For the motherboard, I went with the ASRock H87 Pro 4 ATX LJ1150 motherboard. This motherboard is really cheap right now. You can get it for sub $80 if you try to find a sale. Otherwise, most retailers have it listed for around $85 to $90, and that's a great price for this motherboard. It's not a Z97 board, which you really don't need because the i5-4460 isn't overclockable like I said earlier. And it's still on the Intel H97 chipset, so if you do want to upgrade to an i7 in the future, you can do that. It's got 4 RAM slots up to DDR3 1600MHz and up to 32GB of max memory. It's got RAID support, and 6 SATA 6GB/s ports as well, and it's got onboard USB 3 headers. So all in all, this is the perfect kind of motherboard you want in a build like this. Very cheap, but still has all the features you want, and it's still gonna do really well in this build. For the memory, I went with Corsair Vengeance 8GB, 2 4GB sticks running at DDR3 1600MHz. RAM prices have just been going down and down with the introduction of DDR4. You can pick up DDR3 RAM. This 8GB kit is only $43. And if you look around, you can probably get this same kit of RAM for under $40 if you look for some sales. And Corsair Vengeance 8GB, it's 8GB of RAM, not much more to say. You definitely want 8GB in pretty much every gaming build, at least that amount. And considering it's so cheap, you might as well get it anyway. No reason to get anything more than 8GB in a budget end build though. You can make that upgrade in the future if you want, and since it's so cheap, in probably 6 or 12 months, another kit of this RAM is probably gonna be like $35, so you can upgrade it then. For now, 8GB is more than enough for gaming. For the hard drive, I went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB. It's $50 for a terabyte of storage. I've said this in pretty much every other build, but if you do want more than a terabyte, a lot of the Seagate drives have been going on sale. You can get like Seagate 2TB drives for around $70 to $80 and 3TB drives for around $100. The Caviar Blue is great storage for a mechanical hard drive though. An SSD that would have been the same price as the Caviar Blue would have been only 120GB, so I think a lot of you guys would rather prefer the mass storage, so that's why I didn't get an SSD in this build. If you do want to get an SSD in the future, that's an upgrade you can easily make, and by the time you want to add that SSD prices are keep going lower and lower, so you'll be able to get 120GB for very cheap. So my recommendation is, for now, you budget gamers, stick with a mechanical drive. In the future, if you do want to add an SSD, go ahead and do that. For the video card, I went with the MSI Radeon R9 380 4GB video card for $230. I have an XFX R9 380 4GB model, and it's terrific. This MSI one comes at a really good price of $230, and if you're looking to do 1080p gaming, it doesn't get much better than the 380. You can play games like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt in high settings and still get 50 frames per second. Battlefield 4, Dying Light, upcoming games like Fallout 4 and Star Wars Battlefront, you'll be able to run them. Just a great GPU if you're looking to do some really great 1080p gaming. And also, this GPU has native DirectX 12 support, so that's really nice as well. And all in all, for $230, I think this is a great budget and video card if you're looking to do some really good 1080p gaming, max out a lot of games at 1080p, and get 60 frames per second. And in some of the higher end games, you will have to lower it to high to get around 50 to 55 frames per second, but that's probably the lowest you're gonna go. It's not like you're gonna have to lower games to medium settings with the R9 380. For the power supply, I went with the Rosewill Hive 550W 80+ bronze certified semi-modular ATX power supply. Now this power supply is semi-modular, so it's gonna keep cable management a breeze, and it's 550 watts, which I think is perfectly fine. You're not going for a crossfire configuration in this build, and the i5-4460 is super power efficient, and the R9 380 doesn't take up that much power either. So 550 watts is gonna give you a little bit of headroom if you need it. And this power supply from Rosewill has great reviews, and it has a really good warranty policy as well. And for around $60 to $65, I thought the 550 watt power supply from Rosewill was a really good option. Finally, for the case, I went with the NZXT Source 210 Elite Black ATX mid-tower case for around $45. Yes, it's a pretty basic case, but it's gonna get the job done, and that's what I really look for in a $700 build, or, you know, sub $800 build, really. I look for a case that's not too expensive, but it's still gonna do pretty well. And honestly, aesthetically, I think the Source 210 looks fine, and at a $700 budget, I don't think aesthetics is something you have to care about too much. It's still gonna provide decent airflow and decent ventilation, and all in all, for $45, the Source 210 Elite is a really good case. Also, this comes in black or white, so you guys can pick the color of your preference. I personally prefer the black one, but I will leave that decision up to you guys. So thanks for watching this video, guys. As always, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you dislike, obviously dislike. And if you have a request for a future video, leave it in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.